As with our other speakers, we're very privileged to have Jane Frankland.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm really happy to be here. I'm going to talk to you. My name is Jane Frankland. Thanks for the introduction. I'm going to talk to you about my journey as an entrepreneur, the entrepreneur revolution that's going on, why I want to see more women as entrepreneurs. It's so massively important. So, and what I want to do is share some insights so that lessons may be learned. I want to inspire and empower you, and I want to get a commitment from you. So, who am I? Well, my name is Jane Frankland. I'm an entrepreneur, speaker, consultant, and soon-to-be published author. And I'm not here to speak about that in this 10-minute session that I've got now, but I hope to be able to do that during the Q&A sessions. I'm an SC Magazine Awards judge for Europe. I'm also a board advisor for Club CISO, and Club CISO has 140 senior cybersecurity leaders, mostly within Europe. And I'm up for that award, Cybersecurity Women of the Year. I feel like some kind of like superhero when I say that, which is, I'm almost like not ashamed by it, but I do feel strange about saying it. I'm also a mum to 3 kids. Really important. So what do I believe? Well, I believe that anything is possible. I see opportunity when others see impossibility. I take risks. I'm focused. I hustle. I know that nothing is unrealistic. I feel overwhelming love. I embrace my childlike wonder and curiosity. I take flying leaps into the unknown. I contribute to something bigger than myself. I create, I learn, I grow, I do. And I believe it's never too late to start living a dream. I am an entrepreneur. So what is an entrepreneur? Well, an entrepreneur are rule breakers. Actually, pictured here is Dale Murray. So Dale Murray is one of my mentors, actually, and she was featured on The Apprentice. She built a business with her husband, grew it from 0 to 450 million pounds in around about 5 years. And she's absolutely brilliant. So pictured here is Dale Murray. Entrepreneurs are rule breakers. They're tenacious. They're visionary. They are high energy, passionate, creative, stubborn, high risk appetites, independent, characteristic, competitive, problem solvers, action takers, flexible, courageous, and they have a strong self-belief. And I definitely am an entrepreneur. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey as an entrepreneur because I didn't know that I was. My background is actually art and design, so I have a degree from Loughborough University in art and design. After I graduated, I fell pregnant with my son. I've got 3 kids, and my life took on a different direction. I figured that nobody wanted, I did woven textile design actually, and I figured that nobody needed those skills in an office, so I went and retrained. And I trained as a high-tech secretary. There's so many patterns in my life where technology has featured. I did that and then was picked up by a recruitment consultancy actually, and that's really when I fell into sales. Within a year, I had started my own business. I had absolutely no background in technology at all. I didn't know anything about it. In fact, I was a bit of a Luddite. But because of that, I thought there are only 2 things that are really interesting about this industry. One was cybersecurity, or as we called it then, information security, or IT security even. And the other was AI. And right now it's really interesting for me because AI is figuring so much in cybersecurity. So I started this business knowing nothing about a business at all, knowing nothing about technology, but I had a really good background in sales and was very fortunate to have had that. All I did was I literally, back in those days, it was quite simple. I hit the phones. I had a database. I hit the phones. We went out and we started locally and built our business up that way. I had 2 months in order to make sales. If my business partner and I didn't make sales, I was crawling back to my employer saying, please give me back my job. So it was very much an organically grown company. right at the very start, my business partner and I knew that what we wanted to achieve. So we set our goal. We had a 5-year plan, and it wasn't a lifestyle business. We did work it around children, but our plan was to grow it to be, I think it was 10 million or 2 million at the time, but to walk away with millions. And it was very much grown as an asset to be sold on. And that really helps. When you're starting a business, you've got to know what you want from it. You've got to know whether or not you want a lifestyle business to work around your life, or to build something so that you can sell it, so to grow an asset and sell it. And we knew that right from the very start. Entrepreneurship is really exciting, it's brilliant, but it's not for everyone. It is extremely difficult. My journey as an entrepreneur has been really very much a roller coaster. Highs, lows, stress, absolute, it's just been incredible, and I'm so grateful for it. Within 2 years of that business, I had built a 7-figure business, so we had exponential growth. We started off as a value-added reseller, and then we specialized in penetration testing and went pure service in 2002. I owned that business for 16 years. Grew a team. At our height, we had 21 people, and we were very, very forward-thinking. We had high quality. We were a high-tech company. We niched, and we knew exactly who our market was. And the majority of our market were FTSE companies, banks, retailers, insurers, pretty much those types of companies. And worked with CESG doing vulnerability advisory when research was actually quite innovative, whereas now it's quite common. It was a fantastic business that I built. I sold that 16 years later, and then I went on to become an employee at NCC, and I took on the operations for the Southeast, the US, and the Australian divisions. Now, it was a fantastic job, brilliant opportunity, but it wasn't for me. I know what I am, and I'm an entrepreneur. So I got back to my roots and got on with building a new business several years later. So went through a bit of a journey there, but essentially built a new business. And what I do now is I focus on helping cybersecurity companies to grow and scale. And I also help individuals to find the right opportunities and resource. Right now I'm doing a lot of work on gender diversity. I'm writing a book on women in security. Like I said, I'm not going to go into it in this presentation, but I will go through it later. And really massively excited about that. So the entrepreneur revolution is happening. It excites me because technology is rapidly advancing. It is moving at a speed that we haven't even experienced yet at all. It's going so fast. We have graduates coming out of, graduating, and they can't find jobs. And because technology is advancing and it's also coming down in terms of cost, they're able to get into business and to build businesses. And then we have families. It's not just mothers, but how do we cope with bringing up children? Now, this picture here, it really reminds me of a scene of me with my daughter. And literally, when I built my business, I was working up until the day before giving birth to my last 2 children, and I was back doing my first meeting 2 days after. And certainly in the book, I write about that, and I would never advise it for anyone at all. It is not, you don't ever do that. I got a real telling off from my mum, but when it's your own business, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I went into meetings, supplier meetings, with my baby girl, my last one. My middle one, there's no way that I could have done because he screamed. He's a communicator. I did the same. So, but yeah, I remember doing that. So you've got to do. I was able to because I was the client, and if that supplier wanted to do business with me, it was on my terms. Obviously, I'd never have gone to a client meeting with my baby, but I had to operate like that in order to get business done. So it is possible. It's very much where there is a will, there is a way. You can do it. And I don't know what, the Dalai Lama, I'll come on to this in a minute, this is a bit wonky. The Dalai Lama in 2011 said the world will be saved by the Western woman. When I heard that, I really thought, oh, it's PR. It's kind of, yeah, right. When I looked into it, I realized that there was a huge amount of truth with that. When women succeed in business, the gender gap closes, and it has huge implications for our global economy. This bit here is actually inaccurate. McKinsey reports that we would add 28 trillion to GDP if we were to achieve gender equality, which we're not going to, unfortunately, by 2025. But women are good for business. When women are in business, businesses are more profitable. When women are in security, then we see things in a different way. We can bring in more perspective. We see risk in a different way because of the way that we're wired to give birth. So it's good because we bring in that diversity of perspective. Again, when women are in business, there's more diversity in the workforce, there's more contributions to charities, and there's more support of local businesses. And when women are politically and economically empowered, countries are more stable. So we need more women in business. Now, these figures here, in terms of focusing the mind, Next Generation Software was my company's, my consultancy's, my pen testing company's biggest competitor. A great company, highly technical, highly competent. I don't know if anyone knows of them or remembers them, but that was the team that I took over when I went to go and work at NCC. They sold to NCC in 2008 for 10 million. Integralis sold to NTT for 64 million in 2009, and McAfee sold to Intel for 7 billion in 2010. Context sold to Babcock for 32 million in 2013, again one of my company's nearest competitors, and Mandiant sold to FireEye for 1 billion in 2014. What can you do? Well, like I said, I want to see more women building these businesses. I know so many women that have been employed and really been largely accountable for building not necessarily those businesses that I've gone through, but other businesses, but I want to see them own them. And so far, I'm not seeing that. I see a lot of one man or one woman businesses, and I'm not seeing them scale. I really want to see that change for all of the reasons that I've gone through. And some of the ways that you can do it, you can create a profile, so get visible online. Stand out, have a voice, be professional. There is a way to do that, which I teach. Build your network, so connect, use it. The money, the power is in the network and the relationship that you have with your network. This is something that really we should be really good at. You need to hone your pitch. We're all selling. You don't have to be a salesperson. We're all selling every minute of our lives, whether that's home or at work. Strategize and plan and forge partnerships. Steve Jobs is one of my heroes. I think he's absolutely fantastic. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you found it. And like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on. So keep looking until you find it, and don't settle. Okay, we're not going to do questions now, but thanks very much.